Utilitarian design at its best. What am I talking about? Well, let's jump into this and I'll explain more. Welcome to this episode of Design Talk by DIY3DTech.com. In Design Talk, my goal here is to inspire you guys to go out there, design something productive and useful. With this, I want to share this design. Well, actually, there's two designs here. One that holds the phone, one which is the base. And I want to talk about both of them, but I want to start with the camera piece first. So actually, this is designed to hold my iPhone 4S. Now, I've got a bunch of these old iPhones, Android phones, like probably most people do laying around, and they're great for just kind of general use cameras because also they connect to the Wi-Fi and I can download the images to my central computer automatically through either Dropbox, OneDrive, Google Drive. So they work great and hey, basically they're free. However, I've been doing a lot of stuff making animated GIFs, whatever the heck you kids call them nowadays. Anyways, doing this, I wanted to do them portrait, or I like doing them portrait, in other words, especially on my Delta printers. So I needed something to hold this phone in that orientation. Now, I have a couple commercial ones, but they weren't really getting the job done, nor were they putting or holding the phone where I needed it to be held on the printer. So I designed up my own solution. So kind of long story short, I designed it so the phone just slides in here and just kind of snaps into place, as you can kind of see, so it's held very firmly. You mean you turn it upside down, it won't come out. I made accommodations for the button so you can get your finger in there. 1/4-20. I also adapted it so it matches the profile of most smaller tripod heads, as well as very well supported in here. Because again, I needed this cantilever to get the 40 pin in here, or any type of connector which you want to use, Lightning or USB, they should all basically fit. So one of the pieces which I've done with this is I've made it parametric, so you can go into Fusion 360, put whatever the parameters are of your phone or your general dimensions, and this will pop out a fixture for it. So that's one of the things I really like about parametric design. So because I've got 5S's, I've got 6's, I've got 7's, I've got 8's, I've got a bunch of these, and I've got a bunch of Androids too. So all I have to do now is put in the measurements for that phone, and boom, I've got a holder. So this is really cool. So now I've just used a commercial, ball head here. And then I've made this duckbill foot. Now I've done this before with the duckbills, and I printed this actually on my AlphaWise with a 0.8 nozzle. And this is a solid piece of plastic. I didn't want it warping or anything over time, and there is a bit of weight in the cantilever of this. Maybe you can kind of see it here. So this does have some forward forcing weight, in other words, as it sits down and basically records. So this came out great. The 0.8 nozzle does a great job for stuff like this, and especially if you want to print something solid. Now on the AlphaWise, I'm using the stock hot end with the 0.8 millimeter. I'm running it about 10 degrees higher than I normally would, because pushing that much plastic really is a challenge for that ceramic cartridge to keep up with. So again, I run it a little bit hotter, and I find it pulls the temperature down, but gives me a great finish. And again, I'm running this about anywhere from 40 to 50 millimeters a second, depending upon walls and the finish I want, because again, this is pushing a lot of plastic at 0.8, but man, oh man, does it move the plastic through. Also, you might want to play with your layer heights for finishing. So I like adaptive layering, and Cura does a very nice job to allow me to get very fast on the straights, but yet this has a nice chamfer on it, or fillet here. And so it really came out good, so I'm pleased with that. But all in all, when you take a look at this design, I've designed the two to fit together, and I can use just about any camera on here I want. However, I designed this duck foot to kind of go forward because the camera's weight is pushed forward. So as you're designing your project, these are some of the things to think about. Where's my center of gravity going to be? My center of gravity is here at the phone, actually not back here. So that's why I don't need really anything back here to support it. All the weight's being supported out here. And again, I've got a very large junction down here. Now, I left an opening, a good size opening, basically to save plastic here because My thickness, my wall thickness is 2.4 millimeters, which is more than enough to carry this weight. And I'm using a nylon 1/4-20 down here at the bottom to cinch to the tripod head. So again, all this actually works very good. And again, it's a universal design, so I can put in different variables, pop out a different model. This is one of the things that I think is so cool about the new set of 3D design tools is you can make something parametric. So again, you're not reinvesting all that time to design exactly the same thing in the future for different dimensions. You just input those dimensions. So again, hopefully you found it interesting. Hopefully you found this a little bit inspiring. When you're faced with challenges, instead of just walking past them, again, with the 3D design tools we have out there, be it Fusion 360, OpenSCAD, SolidWorks, the list goes on and on. Even Tinkercad, you can do some crazy stuff. I could have designed most of this in Tinkercad. Obviously, I couldn't have made it parametric. So hopefully out of this series, I'm inspiring you to come up with your own designs, to look at the world a little bit different, to tackle problems a little bit different. And if I'm doing that, please hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed, but definitely give it a thumbs up, and Swag Shop's up there, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Cheers.
Please click like below and subscribe to the channel.